When it comes to building software, speed is everything. But what happens when security just can't keep up? Today, we're looking at a totally new kind of tool that wants to solve that exact problem. An AI that's been designed to think, act, and, well, hack, just like a human penetration tester. Its name is Shannon. And this quote from the creators, it just hits the nail on the head, right? Modern teams are pushing out code constantly, daily, sometimes hourly. But a traditional security audit, that's slow, expensive, and it happens maybe once a year, that creates this huge, dangerous gap where for 364 days, you could be shipping exploitable bugs straight into the wild. So what's the fix? How do you actually close that gap? Well, what if you could just unleash an AI hacker on your own app? Let it find all the holes and help you patch them up before a real attacker ever gets the chance. That is the exact idea behind Shannon.
Okay, let's get into what this thing really is. Shannon isn't just another security scanner that gives you a long list of maybes. No, it's built to be an autonomous AI pen tester, and that represents a pretty big shift in how we can think about securing our applications.
Let's break this down real quick. Autonomous basically means you kick off a full pen test with just a single command. White box means it gets to see your source code, which lets it do a way deeper analysis than an outside attacker could. And here's the most important part. It executes real exploits. It doesn't guess, it doesn't suggest, it proves a vulnerability is real by actually breaking in. Now, Shannon comes in two flavors. There's Shannon Pro, which is the big, commercial, all-in-one platform for enterprises. But for this explainer, we're going to focus on Shannon Lite. This is the open source heart of the project, the core engine you can find on GitHub, and it's where all the autonomous AI pen testing magic we're talking about lives. So how does an AI actually think like a hacker? It's not just some random guessing game. Shannon follows this really methodical 5-phase process. It's designed to mimic exactly what a human pen tester would do, but it does it at a massive automated scale. First up, pre-reconnaissance. It scans the source code and uses tools like Nmap to figure out the whole tech stack. Next is reconnaissance, where it literally opens a browser and starts clicking around your live app, mapping out every single button, form, and API call it can find. Then comes the vulnerability analysis, where it starts forming ideas, hypotheses about where the weaknesses might be. And then, the crucial fourth step, exploitation. This is where it tries to actually launch attacks to prove those ideas are correct. And finally, reporting, where it puts together a list of only the vulnerabilities it successfully exploited. Now, here's where things get really clever. This isn't just a slow step-by-step process. Shannon actually spins up multiple specialized AI agents that all work at the same time in parallel. So you'll have one agent hammering away at the database looking for SQL injection, while another one is simultaneously searching for cross-site scripting, and a third is trying to break the login system. It's like having a whole team of security specialists working at once. Okay, all this theory is cool, but does it actually work? This is where Shannon really shines. It's all about one thing, providing you with concrete, undeniable proof that a vulnerability exists. What's this number? Well, this is Shannon's score on the Expo Security Benchmark, which is a standardized test for tools like this. It managed to find and actually execute 100 out of 104 possible exploits in a test app. That is an incredibly high success rate. And this quote? This is its whole philosophy in a nutshell, and honestly, it's music to any developer's ears. Old school scanners give you this huge report of potential risks, and you have to waste hours figuring out what's real. Shannon throws all that noise out. If it can't write a working exploit for a bug, it doesn't even bother telling you about it. No more chasing false positives. So let's look at a real-world case. The OWASP Juice Shop is this famous, intentionally vulnerable app that's notoriously hard to hack. In a single run, Shannon found over 20 vulnerabilities. And we're not talking about small stuff. It found things like a SQL injection that let it bypass the login screen completely, another flaw that let it steal the entire user database, and it even figured out how to turn a regular user account into a full-blown administrator. Okay, this all sounds amazing, maybe even a little too good to be true, right? Well, it's not magic. And running a tool this powerful comes with some costs and, more importantly, some serious responsibilities. So let's get into the fine print. First up, let's talk money. Because Shannon uses Anthropic's Claude AI models under the hood, a full scan isn't free. A really comprehensive test on an app like that juice shop we just mentioned can cost around $60 in API credits. Now that's way, way cheaper than hiring a human for a week, but it's still something you need to keep in mind. Second, let's talk about time. This is not an instant scan. A really deep, thorough test can take anywhere from an hour and a half to 2.5 hours to finish. And that's because it's doing so much more than just looking at code. It's actively poking and prodding your application, trying out complex attack chains. Okay, and this brings us to what is, without a doubt, the single most important warning. Are you listening? Never run Shannon on a live production environment. I'm going to say it again. Never. This is not a passive tool. Its little AI agents are designed to be mutative. They will create users, they will change data, they might even delete records to prove a vulnerability. It absolutely must only be used on an isolated staging or development environment where there is zero risk to real users or real data. And finally, the legal and ethical stuff. You must, and I mean must, have explicit written permission from the owner of the system before you run any kind of test. Using a tool like Shannon to scan or attack a system that you do not own is illegal, period. This is a tool for auditing your own stuff, not for hacking someone else's. All of this brings us to a really interesting final thought. Look, tools like Shannon aren't here to replace human security experts, but they are absolutely changing the game. As AI gets better and better at finding all the common, low-hanging fruit automatically, what does that free up the human experts to do? Maybe it means they can focus on really complex business logic flaws, or creative threat modeling, or just architecting safer systems from the ground up. It's a pretty fascinating future to think about.